thank you all for coming. It's really a great honor for us, and we were dying to present this project to you guys. First of all, TECHO, how many of you guys have heard it before? I'm guessing, yeah. We did not create TECHO, we're not the founders. TECHO was founded in the 90s in Latin America, and it's all throughout Latin America today. What we did was we merged it with our school. TECHO was present in our state, Nuevo León, this past decade, but it was only on university level basis and private companies that donate money and build homes. There was no such thing as high school students building and working together with TECHO. So we saw this window of opportunity and we took advantage of it, and TECHO, ASFM, the unification of these two projects, has completely changed the course of TECHO in our state. Before, TECHO did about 2 constructions per year. Now they do 2 constructions solely because of us. This weekend there's another high school constructing the high school right down the street. The Tech is also doing it. What I mean to say is it was an explosion. Everybody's doing it now. I don't want to spoil anything about what we've done and how much we've grown it.
And we'll go into detail more.
And we chose this because since it's present in Latin America, it's open to you guys as well. When you head back home, I know you guys are from Chicago, but they do have a center in the States, but it's solely for economic purposes. We won't build, but if you guys want to come down to our build, please do so. So without further ado, this is our 4-minute video.
This is the good video. The other one was
cut it down for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you guys, I just want to make this relaxed. While we're presenting, if you have a question, don't wait till the end. Just put your hand up. Don't worry. It'll be like a nice conversational presentation. So please feel free to interrupt me or anyone of my colleagues, which I will present in a bit. Thanks to you, I have a home, a roof. Thanks to you, I'm gonna live tranquil. I'm gonna sleep comfortable. Okay, so every single person you saw on that video is a member of our school. So what I'm going with this is that although it's building a home and it sounds complicated, anyone can do it. I'm actually going to a construction this weekend myself, and it was on a school with 100% girls. They raise the money, they're building the home, so anyone can do it. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what TECHO is more in depth, how the process of incorporating into our school was done, and then my teammate, who's my wonderful teammate that I love, will present to you the process of the building of the homes and what we do after we build the homes with the families themselves. So let us begin. What is our issue? We have to fight against poverty. Although when we first started this project and I heard about poverty, it was something far away. I thought of poverty, and although it may be a stereotype, I don't agree, but when people think of poverty, they think of Africa, they think of things that are far away. And while I do not agree with this, I was also one of those persons until a 15-minute car ride to a community called Torres de Guadalupe changed my life. Why? Because all it took was 15 minutes away from the place that I sleep in the comfort of my home to take a look at the horrible conditions that people every day have to experience and that people every day have to endure. And it's easy to help. It's easy. And that's where he came in. A teacher, I'm pretty sure you guys all saw him, his name is Patricio Sáenz. He's one of the advisors for Jin. He presented to me this project and said, Max, my name is Max, here's this project that I want to propose to the school. What do you think? I knew nothing of this project. I knew nothing of changing people's lives. I knew nothing of how a bank worked, how a home worked. But I said, let's go. Why? Because it's a problem that we need to fix. So over the next year and a half, it was a ton of trial and error tactics and meetings with the school administration that I formed this team. And together, we wrote up a proposal for TECHO Mexico, TECHO Latinoamérica, TECHO Nuevo León, TECHO Monterrey to be incorporated to a school. And now it's a reality. In May, we have a third construction in which about 176 students are participating. So, but I'm reading it for you guys. So what's next? Who are we? TECHO, as I said before, was founded in Latin America, and it's hoping to change the lives of people through the gift of shelter. And there are other projects that go beyond just the gift of a home to help them be sustainable on themselves, but that will be talked about in the next slides. What are we looking for? We're looking for a society without poverty, where everyone has opportunities to develop their skills and can fully enjoy their rights. The key word here is opportunity. I love the word opportunity because it goes beyond charity. As we help the families of Nuevo León and Mexico and Latin America, we are not gifting them anything. We are not simply throwing them a gift to the ground where they can eat. We are lifting them up. We are giving them opportunities and opportunities to grow. A quick example. Let's say you're 17 years old and you have two kids. And you live in a community of extreme poverty. You can barely manage your home. It's made of trash, literal trash. You sleep with your 2 kids, yourself, and 5 rats on the ground. The dirt is covered with mud when it rains. So this is a case in Torres de Guadalupe. I'm specifically talking about a person called Mari. Mari, she's a friend of mine, and I'm using her for this example. Why? Because she can't go to work. She wants to go to work, and there sometimes is work for her, but how can she go to work if she leaves her home unattended? Her 2 kids and her 5 rats running around unattended. There is no possible way for progress. But with us, we offer opportunity. The opportunity of a sustainable home brings a sustainable life. Because from that, the security of having a stable home, she can go and look for other opportunities. We've already built a home for her, and she's well on her way on climbing the bureaucratic ladder per se, but about finding opportunities.
Guys, I don't want to take much of your time. I actually have to go back to sort of organizing the whole conference. Anyway, I do want to talk to you about the financial aspect of TECHO, because when Max presented the project to me and offered me sort of this position, I told him, that sounds great, but how much is each house? And he told me $2,500. I was like, oh, okay. And so we were planning to build, we had to at least fundraise for 5 houses. So that's around $13,000, something like that. And so we had to find a way to raise all that money in, I think we had 3 weeks. 3 weeks for that build. And so as financial officer, I started considering options. Of course, at first we thought, hey, we'll fundraise it ourselves, bake sales, concerts. We threw pretty much everything. We were still short, unfortunately. So we approached socially responsible firms here in Nuevo León. And to be honest, the project sold itself. We practically just entered the meeting room and they were handing us money. I'm not kidding. Anyway, these are firms that we've continued to work with throughout our builds. We raised around 500,000 pesos for the first build.
Which is like $30,000, $40,000.
With today's exchange rate.
With it, yeah.
After that, we grew exponentially, really, and fundraised 800,000 pesos. And this year, we are approaching almost 1 million pesos. And so, as you can see, TECHO is a project that really does sell itself. If it's that financial aspect that scares you, please don't let it scare you. And it's really a great opportunity for you to understand how the business world works, because for them to literally give you money, they must have some sort of incentive. It's not just they won't just give it to you for free, if you know what I mean. And just before I leave, I'll leave my teammates here, but one thing I do want to tell you guys is that TECHO is an amazing project that not only builds homes for people, but really changes their lives. We don't just build a house and leave and never talk to them again. This is a project that really is sustainable, not just because we continue seeing them, but because students here are dying to continue this project, given that we are going to college in five months. So, all right, that's it for me.
I have a question. You said that the finance people need incentives.
Yeah.
What is their incentive?
Well, apart from giving facturas deducibles, tax deductibles to the firm, they get to bring some of their people to the builds sometimes, some of their own employees. And that's something that a lot of firms here like really crave, I'd say. And they always send at least, how many people did they send last time? Like it varies. Some firms send a lot of people to help us, others not really. But a lot of firms are seeking to sort of diversify their work environment by offering this sort of thing to their employees. Sorry.
Okay, so I know that I think you all have a lot of questions because it's like a really tough process to, like it's not just to get money and go construct, there's a lot behind it. And one of the things, that's one like of the steps that you need to do for a construction is an echo. The echo is extremely important because it's how the TECHO staff and the TECHO Nuevo León and TECHO Latin America decide if a community is eligible for construction. Like you just don't go and choose any community that you think needs help. You actually interview, you get to know the people, you get to know their situations, what they're living through. And with that criteria, you make the choices with the association if it's eligible for construction. In addition, there's something called la descarga. Like once TECHO decides on a community, people come from, I think, from where? Toluca, no?
From Mexico,
From Mexico City, and like there's a lot of people bringing down the materials and all the stuff and distributing it in the houses that you are going to construct. So it's a really tough process, but it's something that people do, and people do with a lot of enthusiasm, because like you have a goal, and the goal is to change someone's life.
Okay, the words he said in Spanish are like, first you do the survey, which is the echo, and then the unloading, which you have to unload the materials with which you're going to build.
And
that's the descarga.
It's really cool because you get to go inside their homes and see how they live, and there are certain like requirements for them to be eligible for a house, and so that is more easier for us because there's less problems created through people that are jealous or other communities wanting houses because the houses are like you have to meet some certain requirements to have one, and we choose the ones who live in extreme poverty first, and then we go to the ones who live the least.
So if you have, I'm so curious about the process. You go into a community, you see, you drive by, you can see a lot of people living in poverty. You choose a family to go survey.
Uh-huh.
But what if TECHO doesn't allow that house to be built? So what do you do?
You survey many families.
I know,
So
but what about those families that don't get that house?
they're eventually gonna get their house built, but like TECHO sets priorities.
So what it does is, TECHO works with the state and with the government of the state, and they offer a list, the state provides a list of the communities in extreme poverty. So what TECHO does is, it's a ton of factors that they have to take into consideration, primarily security, and then citizens, do they have water, do they have electricity, how many of them don't have water, how many of them don't have electricity, and then you choose not by families but by communities. So once a community is chosen merely to be surveyed, they don't know if it's eligible for a house or not, because of when I mean eligible, it's not that it's good enough or bad enough. It doesn't sound great, but it's prioritizing, because there are many other communities that live in worse conditions, that live literally on a day-to-day basis, so we get to those first. So what type of questions do we ask them? So once a community is selected, we work with the community and offer a day where many of the TECHO volunteers, ASFM has done it, 100 kids have done it, they go and they sit down with the family and ask these questions. What type of questions do they ask them? How many kids do you have? From how many kids do you have? And do they all live at home? To how much money what's your income per month? What do you spend your money on? Do you have water? Do you have light? Do you know how to read? Do you know how to speak English? Do you have social security? You have a job? It's like a five-page survey, questionnaire, exactly. And from that, it's where TECHO decides each community is given each family is given points, and the higher the points, the more the more they need.
But we don't leave the community until everyone has their home. Like we don't.
Yeah.
We finish the entire community and then we'll go to the next community. So we have been working in the same community about 2 years or 1 year and a half.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, so as I said before, like TECHO sets priorities to build these houses first, and these houses, like based on necessity.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, what I believe personally, like this is a comment, like personal comment. What I like about TECHO, it's like that interaction you can have in a personal aspect, not only professional. Like I've been in a lot of community service, and most of them, like you get there and you already know what to do. You have a schedule, and like you do it. What I really like about TECHO is that personal interaction you get to have, because it not only helps growing your life skills, but also it changes you as a person, which for me it's the most important part of service learning and community service.
Okay, so now going into the building process, this is a like really exciting part. So, you guys, what do you think is like the first thing you have to do to start a house? Like, what's the base of the start to first starting a house? Does anybody have an idea?
Genesis. Yes.
You have to make sure that the house would be stable when you build it.
Exactly. Well, we start off with something that's called pilotes, and these are like green wooden blocks where we stabilize the house so it's at all in the same level, so it doesn't fall off or it doesn't go to the side. And this is like the toughest part of the process of building the house. It's what takes you like a whole day to do, because you have to make it that it's perfect, and if it isn't perfect, you have to do it again and again and again and again until it's all right. And then going from there, we go on to like the floor, and the floorboards. Like it continues on with the, like you have to first set up like the layout of the floorboards, and then you go on to the floorboards. And after finishing that, that's mostly what you get done in a day, like the floor and the floor. Then you go on to the panels, which are the walls, and They go onto the panels, which are the walls, and be set up like in a certain shape that has to be certain to a specific process, and then you go onto the roof. And to go onto the roof, you have to set up wooden boards that are able to set the roof on top of the house. And with that, you go onto the roof, and you finish off with setting them up and hardening so they won't fall off.
And the last process of constructing a house is an ignition.
Is you saw normally when
No, like
You introduce the family to the house.
when you're about to open a business and you say like
Well, just like that, but for the family. Basically.
and there's like a little party after the family tells their words and how
So basically, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like a puzzle, but much harder because the equipment is already pre-assembled. We just have to put it together. It's a puzzle. It's much harder.
Okay, so now here are like some of the jobs that are assigned to the people of TECHO. And we started off with the jobs being from the organizations themselves. It wasn't much from the students of ASFM. So we started off with the jefe de escuela, which is basically the monitors of the whole construction. They're making sure that everything is running fluidly. The coordinador de vida de escuela, that's just checking that everybody has enough water, everybody's all right, and they feel correct. And then it goes on to the monitors, which is they check specific houses to see how they're going. Jefes de cuadrilla, who are the leaders in each house, and the bolera and camioneta, which are just basically sending materials out throughout the community.
So as you can see, this all ties back up to what you asked, Miss, about the criteria, about the security of everyone. Because even though you're in construction, there's a lot of things that could happen, and everything's taken care of by the association. So like people and participants are safe.
And whenever we go to a community to build a house, you stay in the community, but in like a government building, and you sleep there for one night, and everything. We call ourselves techeros, which are like the staff of who are in charge of the
Like ginners.
like of the logistics behind the project, and we cook for the people who are going to build. We provide them like a cleaning space where they can sleep, and we have a ton of federal policemen guarding the place where we sleep. So it is really a very fun experience to go and sleep in the community because you get up very early with the excitement that you're going to return to build a home for someone.
And what's always been really important with this is that at the start, we started off with almost everything being done by the organization itself and not the students. We were just like participants of the organization. And slowly as the years have progressed, we're becoming more part, and we're like doing this more independently than the organization. We're building our own organization basically. So this year, like all of these jobs that were once done by the organization, are all going to be student-led. So this is a staff meeting that it's basically like the executive team of TECHO. We're 15 people. We're just a few of many. We get together to see how we can improve the project and make it better every day.
And well, the community where we're right now working on is called Torres de Guadalupe, which is 1 hour away from the city. And as you can see, these are like the picture over here, our homes, and
So
we are working on to build everyone a sustainable home.
So as Max said when he explained about the community, he didn't exaggerate when he said that there's mud in the floors. Like you can see there's dirt. So literally when it rains, they have mud floors.
The houses are made of like carton, pieces of paper, and
They call it TECHO. It's like a material that's basically permeable by water.
and they have like only one bed for a family of 8 people, and they don't have like a kitchen and bathrooms, and like they live in very bad conditions, and we want to go there to improve their quality of life.
And I see that I don't want anyone to get bored or anything and getting out of it. So And does anybody have any questions regarding the life conditions or the community itself? That's always interesting. We were planning on telling a few anecdotes, but judging by the atmosphere I'm getting from this room, maybe it's time for that. So, Arturo, why don't you share an impacting anecdote of Techo? Everybody has one.
Okay, before sharing that, let me just share a little bit of my successes and then the anecdote. We've raised over $100,000 and we built 39 houses. That's the only thing I want to say.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
And we're planning on this. Thank you. This May we're building 28. We actually just finished the fundraising stage yesterday, or right now, like 2 hours ago. And it appears that it's going to be or either 27 houses or 28. So
It's really cool to see that fundraising process because you see students selling cookies or doing concerts to fundraise. And really cool.
Okay, now the anecdote. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, you're all seniors?
Yes.
We are not seniors.
Okay,
Yeah.
so these lovely folks go on to their next adventure.
Yeah, that's
Are you,
We are the
please tell me how
transition.
this will be sustained.
part of the executive team. You go.
Okay, there is an executive team, like the first. When Max said that he got a group together, it's the seniors. We were chosen this year, like first semester, we were chosen to be the next executive team for next year. So this year is just like a transition year. They are preparing us and teaching us everything we need to know so that next year we can take on with the project.
And then you will choose.
Yeah, and then we.
One anecdote that I want to share that really impacted me was that first when we arrived to the community, there was a little boy that always wanted to be there, involved in helping us. Like, it's really hard to know that, like, where you are because the streets are, like, sometimes they end up in a river, or like, so we needed a guide for us to know very well the community. And at first he wanted for us to pay 20 pesos to him. So we paid 20 pesos to him.
Which is like $1.50.
And he took us around the community and then started asking questions like, why do you do this? Like, who pays you and how much do they pay you? And we were like, no, we do this because we want to help Mexico improve, and like we do this for love. And he was like, oh, and then he started asking questions like about the process and that stuff. And then when they finished, he returned the 20 pesos and was like, I also wanted to do this because of love. And like, it impacted me a lot that those people that are most in need always are helping the other ones too, even though they have nothing.
Is there a question over there? Over there? Yeah, you had a question, right?
Is that in Nicaragua, Techo para mi país, when you go fundraising, you guys fundraise like out on the streets and get other like places, like not just like big organizations involved, but like people from like anywhere involved.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a encuesta nacional, which I'm sure Nicaragua does as well. It's one day designated to, it's called Voltear, where you go on the street. Yeah, and we haven't done that yet because the dates of the encuesta nacional are when the fundraising stage is already done. So
We don't know what that is.
Colecta is like going on the voltear is going on the streets.
To ask for money, like
To the cars.
the cars that you stop by in the stop signs, and you like go into each window, like you want them to go in the stop sign, like in the red lights.
It's not done that much. When I haven't seen it that much in the States, but here, like,
It's really common in Mexico.
in like stoplights, like you stop and you ask for money.
You were asking about the executive team, and there's like a picture of the executive team from last year, like,
So
That's Max. That's
this is the CFO, and this is the advisor. This is the teacher I'm telling you about. This was the first home, that we built as a team as part of the ASFM. We did a pilot test build because the school was hesitant, and I don't blame them. So they said, hold up a year or two, and we decided to fundraise the money on our own and have a pilot test build, and then come back to them with more data and proof. And unique stories because we all know that emotions is good.
And I want to ask a question, like how do you think we keep this project sustainable? Like, is there a way to sustainably end poverty in this?
Like maybe in groups of your tables, or you maybe can join a group. Think about a way, come up with an answer, and we'll go with each group until it's over.
Just in case the question wasn't clear enough, besides just building a home and then walking off, like what type of projects do you think we do, or what type of mediums do you think are a way for poverty to be sustainable?
They could just teach something about like their culture, like someone besides wherever they are. So I feel like, you know,
come up with a sustainable income stream.
because if one person gets a good job, then they'll be able to stay
En YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah.
What did you guys come up with?
Alright.
There's no way to end it because of the amount of money it would cost to bring everybody to an equal level. There are ways to
decrease? Okay, wait. What's a sustainable way of lowering?
giving people electricity, water from water supply, and also giving houses that give people better opportunities to get jobs.
Yeah, get jobs. I think job creation for sure.
But we can't just give all our money to try and end poverty. Right. That would create most of the poverty.
We have like 5 minutes left. No. 7 minutes left. 8 minutes left.
How many seconds?
So, why don't we start over here?
Okay, so our idea in order to change, poverty is to provide people with a better education, because technically a better education leads to a better jobs, and which would in fact lead to a better economy.
Okay, it's an excellent answer. Anybody else? Over there?
Our idea was kind of to help them look for jobs and help them to see where to find jobs to provide them with a sustainable income.
Excellent. What about you, Insane?
So we were talking about how in order to exit poverty, you have to have a way to have, the money to move yourself out of poverty, and that, of course, is having a job. And it needs to be a stable job, because some people have jobs and they don't know how much they're going to get paid or when they're going to get paid. And my partner here had an idea about something like that she could probably explain better than I could.
We were just talking, and we thought maybe if this TECHO organization, instead of employing their own employees to help build, if they gave some community members in that community to, a fee or some money towards building so they get a job and education and a skill to help the other builds.
I think that is an excellent segue into what's going to be our next point. I'll just go into it because we have 5 minutes left. And that is excellent because TECHO, what it does is there's only one person per state that gets paid. And TECHO is completely off. It's an NGO, it's of voluntaries. So TECHO, what we do and what the school has been doing is, in order to provide this education that you guys mentioned, the community center that we built, we go each Saturday to it, and members of our school and other members of the organization are much more able to give education workshops. They give education workshops every single Saturday for children that can't go to school because it's too far away, because they need to work. So that's where we're attacking the problem from its roots, which is
I
education.
don't know if it's clear, we built a community center like 3 months ago, and it is like double the size of a regular home. So there's, inside that community center, there's desks, there's whiteboards, computers, books, and so every Saturday we go to workshops where we can teach English or any, I don't know what subjects, but to provide education to the community.
And in order to elevate service or to provide and help the people of the community, some of the workshops include teaching about leadership. And it's what it is members of the community sign up and they get exercises and they practice leadership for when a time comes when they need it, the community can provide leaders. And on Christmas Day, just to make it much more, on Christmas Eve, just to make it much more tragic, there was a fire in Torres de Guadalupe which burned 7 homes and 2 TECHO homes. And immediately the leaders that had signed up for the workshops that we have given, it was incredible. They were completely different persons. They got people together, they organized logistics, they cleaned up the terrain, they called the paramedics. It was incredible. So I like your idea so much that, can we talk like 5 minutes after it ends? Because I want to propose that to Mariela, which she is in charge of TECHO.
We also have, we teach them how to make up.
Where they plant their
How to raise crops.
And so they can grow, like they know well how to raise the crop. And we also teach women how to sew, so they can build like a business in their community. And like we provide a lot of opportunities for people. Like we just not only go to construct a house, we go there every Saturday to teach them other things so they can apply to their life and like grow with a better quality.
Who else wants to share?
The other 2 remaining tables, like what are your
Here's some great ideas. Let's steal them all.
Well, our solution was to increase the mindset of these people, like, because we made a similar project and it was like improving the people's lives, but it's not just of like giving them the stuff. We need to like change their mindsets and like make them realize that they need education and that they need jobs. And
Change my mindset because I never thought of that before. And over there, back to
Well,
Nicaragua.
everything is so important. One of the most important things for me, for the children and like the people, is their basic necessities, meaning like stuff that can keep them alive and well before they need all these things to be able to get their jobs, get their things, and be able to like have clothing to be able to clean up for their jobs, have this. So that's one of the most important things that I see.
Yes, like there's a lot of families in the community that like when you are a citizen, they have 0 pesos. Like you tell them, what do you work in? No, I don't have a job, and I have 7 children. Like they have 0 pesos. So like when we provide them a house, they like start getting more involved in our like projects and then they get a job.
Going back to what Paola said about the changing their mindset, whenever there is a build for a construction to happen, like for a house to be built, the owner of the house that's going to be built has to be present there, and the construction has to work also in building the house. Also, they have to give a small, like a very minuscule amount,
15%.
yeah, of the house. Well, I think it's of the house. Like they're gonna have to finance it like a very small percentage themselves. So that way, we're also changing their mentality of
Charity.
like they feel responsible for changing the way they are. We switch their mindset from just give me what I need to I'm gonna search for what I need and I'm gonna work for what I need.
And it's
You know?
really cool to see that like the neighbors come to help like their neighbor to have a home, even though they haven't have the opportunity to have one too. Like everyone in the community helps each other. It's really amazing.
I want to have, like, we ran out of time. I just want 1 minute for closure. And why we chose this project and why we were so desperate, I call it, to present here was because it's attainable to every single one of you here. There are some people that are from Latin America, from here from Mexico, and it's right next door. But for people coming from Chicago, for example, I'll write down my mail here. If you have any questions, if you'd like to help in any way, or I'm talking to everybody. If you'd like to help, if you'd like to know more, and maybe it's a wild idea, but if you want to incorporate it to your school or your community, our entire team is glad to help you. It'll be an honor to spread this.
You're also invited to come to a build.
And if you want to participate in our projects, please email me anything. So this is why we chose it. It's not far-fetched. It's attainable. It's simple, and by simple I mean it can only be simple after a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of love. Without love, it's never gonna be done. You need love. You need to love them. You need to love yourself. It's all out of love. A love for changing your country, your community, for them, for your friends, for your school, and that's why I love all you guys.
If you have any questions and you see us walking around, my name is Eugenia, Arturo, Max, and Adrian. Because we didn't present them.
Of course.
Okay, I've been to several TECHO builds with them, like they were very excited me. And if you think, especially girls, like I don't mean to be sexist or anything, but the first time I went, I was terrified of building. Like I'd never grabbed any tools in my life, and it's the easiest thing, and everybody's really willing to help you learn. Even like most of the people to whom you're building a house to work in kind of like they're used to using those tools, and since you're helping them, they're glad to help you help them. So like there's nothing to be afraid of, and it's a great experience. No matter how afraid of nature and how afraid of not taking a bath for one night you are. It's really great.
I think that's about it. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I don't know what goes on next. You guys can just leave, right?
The second festival in the cafeteria. The second